Go. Sige, local scene first. How's it as a member partner of PFIP?
So Castro PR became a member of PFIP back in 2021. That was when
Very recent.
Quite recent, yes. That was when I was assigned as managing director.
Oh, wow.
That was one of my main projects.
So, Johnny, that's what O'Neil was saying. Are you serious?
I'm very serious.
Yun, diba? It's talagang you want to be part of this? There you go. Okay.
Yeah, so, you know, I am first and foremost an advocate. So when I got assigned as managing directress, my main goal really is to further the D&I policies in Castro PR because we've always been diverse. We are proudly LGBTQ plus owned and led. 70% of our employees are queer. But you know, when I got assigned, I realized we are diverse, definitely, but made me question if we were really inclusive.
And equity.
And equitable,
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to be diverse, but to be equitable and inclusive are totally different areas. So I realized, as the leader, I needed to really further the policies. And the first initiative I took was to become a member of PFIP.
And becoming a member, how did it help Castro PR? So were you able to dive deeper into solving or uplifting the policies in place? Or you made new rules to adapt?
So many learnings, actually, because, you know, we've always claimed our DNA as the most gender progressive PR firm in the country. But then, upon becoming a member company, I realized that there's so much more that we need to do for our employees. So that through PFIP, I learned about different benefits that queer members can get, and that we didn't have yet back then.
Not just for the members, but for the loved ones,
for the
partners,
correct,
right?
Correct.
Yeah.
For everyone. So, because we are quite unique because we didn't really experience discrimination. You know, we've always been diverse in the company. But I knew I had to take it a step further and really promote inclusion and being equitable.
I get the equitable, but again, when it comes to inclusion, it's not just about hiring.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example on inclusion, please, Jandy, before I turn it over to Paolo. When you say inclusion naman, because I get the diversity, I get the equity, when you put policies in place, it was an eye-opener. How about inclusion? Like leadership roles also?
Correct. Really empowering queer leaders to step up. That's one. And even as early as hiring, and this is something I'm very proud of, we are very proud of. In all of our hiring posts, we deliberately state LGBTQ plus applicants are highly encouraged.
Oh.
And it's really one, I remember one member of our company, when he got hired, he explicitly mentioned that that was what pushed him to apply.
Nice.
And he applied in 2022. But he was still scared to be hired because he was scared that he might get discriminated for being gay. So imagine, that was already 2022.
When you see that on the hiring.
Yes, but when you see that you are welcome, you are included, then you really take your chances, and that's what we want.
Wonderful. Let's give that a round of applause. See in practice. Now let's move over to Paolo. Paolo, okay, this is going to be quite an eye-opener because, again, multinational levels, which is different. Go ahead, Paolo. How did it... And you were a founding... Part of the founding...
I was part of the initial conversations of the group, so I've been part of four.
Yes.
I've been part of 4 companies. It's always nice whenever I look at this. So I was with Northern Trust, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan Chase, and so my journey, my career...
Span.
But I think I'm proudest most of my current job. So I left financial services, I moved to medical device, and the company when I joined, I wasn't a member of PFIP yet. So one of the first things that I did when I reviewed it was bring the company along because for me, and this is the reason why I always have time for PFIP because I've seen the value from the very beginning, from the early days, from SOGI 101 to executives. These were conversations we were having 10 years ago when that vocabulary wasn't there. right? And then the importance of workplace benefits and not, I came back from the States, so most of my career, or at least the beginning of my career was all in the States. I came back here, and coming back into the BPO industry, the first thing I noticed was, from an inclusion perspective, that was already there. And that's why it doesn't surprise me that this started. On the contact center side, I think it was a safe place because you were just a voice to a lot of people. And so people could be anybody they wanted to be on The Voice, right? And so it's funny when you're walking around, you hear British accents or Australian accents, you hear somebody who sounds female and you look, and the voice does not connect to the person, but it allowed the people to be who they could be, right? And that really became why, we attracted so much diversity in the early days in the industry. And then it started becoming formalized into what's the next step, right? So it's not just the parties and everything else, but becoming a formal agenda. Before ESG, before diversity and inclusion, became corporate mandates.
Pao, just to but just to shine the spotlight on this one fact, though, did it help that because you were part of multinational companies, that it seemed like it was already part of the norm, versus where Johnny's coming from, na ang daming kulang?
Absolutely, right? And I think especially with financial services, but it's not an accident why it started there. A lot of these companies had this as part of their agenda globally.
It was in place already.
It's already in place. Now, but the practice, what does that look like?
Okay.
Right? And so I remember very shortly, once you established a Pride chapter in the Philippines, it quickly became the largest Pride chapter in the global network. Right? It just all of a sudden,
everyone jumped
allies and between that whole journey. And so it's somewhere where the momentum was easy to build because you're in a multinational. The inclusive culture is something that we see much more for these companies, especially North American companies, right? The North American banks. That's really where it was easy to push the agenda first. But then when we started, it was just a conversation, and then same-sex partner benefits, and then for those gender-neutral restrooms, right? These are all things that when I first started, they didn't exist, right?
Yes.
And so I remember Boy Abunda made a very interesting comment back in the day when we invited him because where should a trans woman go, in a male bathroom or a female bathroom? And they said, go to the female bathroom, you're less likely to get beaten up there. Right.
Oh.
That was very, very. I remember if you remember that in JP back in the day, but it was like very practical advice. But that's a very sad way to look at things, where you have to worry about something like that when you enter a restaurant.
But again, see, in practice, you're all hired, but that's always one of the biggest issues. Where do I go to relieve myself?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things where the playbook at PFIP coming up with a playbook where member companies come in. There's a playbook now of best practices, global best practices put together, and you can just take it and adopt it. Right? I think that's really the value that I've seen. It's a plug and play, the access to mentors, the access to people who have grown their careers very successfully, and for younger people who are coming in, it's easy to see a role model, right? And say that, okay, I can go through and I can follow this one.
Paolo, just to touch on that one, is it anywhere our LGBTQIA plus friend, community member wants to go?
Yeah, nothing stopping you but you. Right?
Yeah, there you go. It shouldn't
In
be
the member companies.
within the member companies.
In the member companies, you see it more. In other companies,
Kasi nga, oy, dun ka. If you're not a member company, it still exists na you're supposed to be there.
not as explicit.
Okay.
Right? So I think now
It's just like this now.
or you look around first before you make a comment, right? Or there's what is said and what is practiced.
Yeah, but again, I know it seems silly, but it's what's happening, and that's why we're having this conversation, right? So let's be less judgmental and more accepting, because not everybody is a member of PFIP, but you, our dear friends who are in the media, are in a position to talk about it, diba? So even that, punta ka lang ng CR, mag-i-issue pa ba yun? Diba? Sana naman what? But thank you again, Paolo. So that's one good practice of being a PFIP member. And that's, again, at the most human basic level. How do you relieve yourself? Now let's go executive positions. How about like that? Leadership roles.
No, I think, for in my leadership bench, I'm very lucky that I have a very open director of transformation. So my one down, my direct, probably the person I lean on more outside of my HR directors. He's an openly gay man and somebody who is leading our DNA practice to help educate the upper company.
Is it ever an issue that when someone is being promoted, that your gender is talked about, is considered? Or is it about output? It is what this person is capable of. Really, the track of the career, what they, output based, something like that, right? Never pinag-uusapan na LBG. Is it even mentioned?
I didn't even know. When I hired him, I was hiring for his capability.
There.
Right? And then it was after he joined, he came out to me and then he asked, it was a PFIP event, can I come in drag? Absolutely, come in drag. And he became 6'6" with heels.
I
And
know,
right?
I saw that.
Right? That was the first time I said come out in drag in 10 years.
Yeah.
But I said, no, come, feel free, go. Right? And so but that's
That depends on the company.
That depends on the culture.
Yes, the company culture. So that one though, we are open na respect na if it's a daily, this is the wear, the attire. But when it's a company party, sure, no problem. That's the usual practice, correct? Just so again, we're not pushing, we're not putting it in your face, but these are again things that we can talk about, and we are putting healthy boundaries for all. I think that is the end goal.
I think the goal is to assume good intent,
Yes.
right? And try to enter conversations that you don't know everything, right? But to have the good intent of wanting to see what's best,
Yeah.
right? What's best for everyone. I think that's the spirit of it. Because sometimes we get stuck on definitions, on borders, and I think that's why I really like the difference, because there shouldn't be any borders.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, that's the local versus multinational perspective. Now, I'm going on the type of industry. Because like I said, we always assume our friends from LGBTQIA+ are creative, right? Entertainment. So, Janly is in PR, and Paolo is in healthcare, business, financial management. Surprisingly, where is it more DEI? Diverse, equity, and inclusive. Equitable and inclusive. You might be surprised because I got surprised with the answer. Where is it more? In the multinational or in the local? When it especially in the industry, entertainment or financial management?
In terms of diversity, in the entertainment and local,
Creative.
in terms of equitability and inclusion, it's really...
It's still
But
multinational.
also depends on the level. Right?
Okay,
It
can we
depends
expound?
also on the levels of different companies. You may have a very diverse general population, but when it comes to, and this is something that we track those, but every level, what's the diversity quotient? One of the biggest challenges we have is outside of gender diversity, we have no way, there's no tool to measure it, right?
Yeah.
There's no, like I've been trying to push my DE&I team. Can we get self-identifying, right? I identify as gay.
HR doesn't have it. I'm curious. Do you have percentages?
Because legally, there's only a male and female gender.
Really?
Yes. If you don't change your name, so I went once in an awarding ceremony and I'm reading the awards class.
I am so surprised. Again, because I get to host for so many companies and brands. So if you're going to say how you measure it in percentages, really?
And it's data private.
Data private. Wow. See,
That's why
again,
we
there's still a lot
Yeah.
to go. Wow, thank you for that eye opener. So it's not just male, it's still male, female. When it comes to let's push it a bit. Be different. Pag-usapan natin, push natin. Okay, next. I saw a question. Because now it's a conversation again. If someone is introduced or is applying to be a PFIP member, a conversation gets started. And you both went to PFIP. Everyone, again, seems to be on the up and up, where it's inclusive, they embrace you. Was there any point you said, let me think about it? Just to be real, what's a conversation like for an incoming new member and for an already existing one, especially after you've been part for a couple of years? Because we are introducing PFIP to new members. So what will it be like, that conversation? Was there any point you felt like, teka lang ha, I'll think about it muna.
There was none like that for me,
Okay.
for our company, because it was really us who wanted to be a member. Though I can speak on behalf of brands and clients we work with, because as a PR firm, we work with a lot of different
Because it's that question,
companies.
introducing these policies.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. So how do we show it? How do we introduce it to them?
Yeah.
It's through the practices that we have. It's through the services that we provide. So actually, we tell our clients that we are a member of PFIP, and how PFIP has benefited us as an SME, and how it can also benefit them as a company. And we also share our experiences through our diverse set of talents and our inclusive policies. It has helped us grow from, we started in 2011, which is 4 of us, and now we're 26 and 70% are queer.
Wow. Jamdi, like I said, great and very, very rosy outlook. But I'm curious, just to push the boundary here, if a client said no, has there any been an instance that when you say, by the way, we're with PFIP, we have these practices in place, and has a client has a client gone, no, I prefer this?
So far, not in my face.
Oh, okay.
But you never know.
But again, see, you never know. I'm just being really real here. Now, you're very proud. This is what you represent. Like, no, can you send that person instead of this one? I mean, it's all the underhanded conversation that happens.
Right.
Diba? So, not yet.
So in those cases, we show best examples, best practices. So for example, a client who's already a member of PFIP versus a client that's not yet a member, then we share not just our practices, but also the practices of the other clients, so that they can realize better that them too can benefit from the ENI.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, the service of the work is what you should look at. Yes? Like, is there any problem now? Why? Why do you want to switch this person or something like that? I think that's a fair question to how to address that. Correct? And I'm just all checking if these are the good practices.
Yes.
Thank you, Adil. How about in Paus?
And I think I want to make also a little bit of a distinction, right? So there is also the multinational corporations in the IPPF where you're servicing an export market, so you're servicing global operations, not necessarily in the Philippines.
Okay.
Because the Philippine entity of that same multinational corporation may have a different environment. They'll adopt the policies and procedures, but the gender mix, the diversity mix may also be a little bit different, right? So it's very difficult to bucket all, right? And because there's so many nuanced, angles of how you can look at it. But I think that's where the conversation needs to start. It starts with the conversation, right? And with an open heart coming in and wanting to learn, right? And understand, and what can I do? Because some of these things it doesn't matter it doesn't matter what gender you are, where you're coming from, you're human. These are human rights. These are human requirements, right? And this is how to be better humans to other humans.
And in the end, when you are in the workplace, we're all there together to get the work done.
Yes.
Kaya nga workplace, diba? Exactly. So
there's so much data on how diverse teams, and teams that are representative of the environment, of the market, performs much stronger, right? So I think that's where just showing the data when you have these conversations and not being an emotional conversation, but a data-driven conversation.